Welcome to today's episode of David vs. Goliath, a podcast dedicated to helping small businesses leverage technology to not only help them compete against their large competitors, but win. Your host is currently the CEO of Anthem Business Software, a 3-time Inc. 500 recipient, and a serial entrepreneur with a passion to help small businesses everywhere find, serve, and keep more customers profitably. Please join me in welcoming your host, Adam DeGrade.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the David vs. Goliath podcast. My name is Adam DeGrade. I am so grateful that you took the time to watch and to listen to what we have to say over the next several years, hopefully, of interviewing small business owners who are leveraging technology and really helping themselves compete and win against the large competitors. You know, I've been a serial entrepreneur since 1997. I started my first business called BZ Results in the basement of my house in a little state called Rhode Island. And that seems almost like a different lifetime ago. But I had almost no money. I just had this idea that I could have my own agency, I thought at the time, and I could start a business and help them with TV and radio commercials. And so I did. I started my own business. I took a credit card, about $50,000 credit line, maxed it out, hired some people, couldn't even afford to pay myself, started a business, and before you know it, I ended up switching my efforts over into a software and marketing company for automotive dealers. And from 1997 to 2006, I was able to build, along with a lot of really smart and great partners of mine, a very successful business where we had about 1,800 car dealers, and I sold it to ADP in 2006. At that time, I started another company called Astonish, where we worked with about 850 insurance agencies and built that with some amazing partners and great talented employees. And we did the same model of software marketing consulting, and then we grew that, sold that in 2011. That was worth quite a bit of money at the time as well too, and that was awesome. And then I switched and transitioned. I stayed on as CEO for a couple of years. And then I switched and transitioned into another business that I started called Crystal Clear. And that business worked with a little over 800 plus providers, plastic surgeons, med spas, medical spas, plastic surgeons, cosmetic derms, in the elective medical space. And we sold that one back in November in 2020. And then I started recently Anthem Business Software, which I'm the CEO of. You can check out the logo right there. And it's been awesome. And what I realized is that working with almost 5,000 small businesses, I really felt that there was a void in the industry at large, especially for small businesses. You know, the sole proprietor up to 500 employees, a place where we can all come together and learn from each other, the mistakes, the successes we've had over the years. And one of the things that I've discovered over the years is that it's never about one thing that makes a business successful. It's always about many different things working together in concert, in unity to make things successful. And so if you think about the concept of David versus Goliath, the story is David went to fight and face the Philistine giant called Goliath. And Saul offered him, hey, you can have my armor and my sword, and you can go into battle. And David's like, nah, I don't need that. Thank you for that stuff. I'm going to go down to the stream. I'm going to get 5 smooth stones, and I'm going to compete and win against a giant Goliath. And that's exactly what he ended up doing. It was fascinating. He went out and only needed 1 stone to slay that Goliath. And I said, man, if I could do a podcast called David versus Goliath, from small business owners of all walks of life, whether you're a painter or a contractor, or you own a technology company or whatever it is, and we can talk about how we have 5 things that we do in our business successfully, from plans and goals, to the right people, to the right tools, to the right process, to number 5, courage, which is what we all need in order to succeed and slay that giant that we compete against. I said, how much of a valuable resource would it be for me to be able to share the things that I've learned over my years as an entrepreneur, a serial one I might add, And then also learn from those that are succeeding more successfully or even smaller and they're trying to grow. How can we create a network and a feedback loop for each other where we can share best practices, share our pitfalls and successes, and all learn from each other? And that's where David and Goliath's podcast comes in. And so in just a few short weeks, starting in October 2021, my hope is that I can create at least 1 to 4 of these a month. I think it's going to be more closer to 4, but I don't want to promise that, where we're interviewing the best in breed in all different industries of small businesses who are taking on that large competitor and winning. So I hope you'll sign up, become a subscriber, and then get ready to change your life with the David and Goliath podcast. Once again, it's Adam D. Grade. I'll be your host. It's going to be a lot of fun, entertaining, energetic, and informative. I promise you, you will not regret it. Have a great day.